One-person tent, two-person tent.
Hello everyone, I'm Wang Jigang. Today we're going to continue sharing content about our new product for 2026, which is this Saga tent. Not long ago we shared with you a scene of us conducting wind tunnel tests and the results were excellent. Now that we've checked its wind resistance in the wind tunnel, this time we want to show you how it performs in terms of waterproofing. This tent is made from double-sided silicone-coated fabric. As everyone knows, the outer layer of double-sided silicone-coated fabric can't have seam tape applied. So before testing this tent, we originally planned to apply glue to the seams first. However, our manufacturing process and the sewing thread we use both have a certain degree of waterproofing. So let's first test its waterproof capability without applying any glue. If you notice any signs of water seepage, we'll share the relevant information with everyone. So when you go out to use it, make sure to apply glue to it. Before we start the waterproof test, let me first emphasize once again the classic design of this structure. As you can see, it features an X-shaped cross with ridge pole. This pole design usually serves two functions. First, it expands the space of both the inner and outer tent. It basically expands and increases the usable area of the original X-shaped cross space. The second function is that when you extend the pole, it actually creates an eave-like effect so that when it rains and we open the outer tent door, the rainwater is much less likely to get the inner tent wet, helping to keep the inside dry and comfortable. However, with the Saga tent, our ridge pole is not made as long as in traditional designs. Normally, if you want to use a ridge pole structure, most crossbars are as wide as the inner tent itself, but ours is a bit shorter. We should explain this, as there are two reasons for it. The first reason is that we believe if the pole is relatively long, it will bear more pressure, which could make it softer or cause it to bend downward. Since this tent mainly emphasizes its sense of space, especially the headroom, we intentionally made the pole a bit shorter so that it would be stronger and more supportive. Secondly, we actually prefer to recommend the single-person inner tent for this model because the single-person inner tent is positioned more to one side of the tent. This way, even if the pole is shorter, after setting it up, it's not easy for the inner tent to get wet. Of course, I want to emphasize that this applies to the single-person inner tent. If you're using the double-person inner tent, please don't fully unzip it on rainy days. In this way, it can also serve as an important waterproofing measure. Take a look at this small detail, everyone. Right now, the inner tent hanging inside this Saga is the single-person version. Of course, it can also be fitted with a double-person inner tent. You can choose between the single or double version according to your needs. With the single-person inner tent, you get a very spacious living area. Let's open it up and see if there are any surprises waiting for us. See this? This is the space inside the single-person inner tent. We can let our pets sleep here. When rolling up the door, we fold it upward, which makes it look neater and more attractive. Let's take a look at this big Bernese mountain dog. It's actually able to lie down and sleep in this living room area. Isn't that spacious? Now I have a caliper in my hand. Let's check from a vertical angle. There's still about a dozen centimeters between the outer tent's eaves and the inner tent before they touch. So, if we make a single-person version of the inner tent, rainwater won't easily get the inner tent wet when it rains. As you can see, the width of the single-person inner tent only reaches about 3/4 of the outer tent. If we use the double-person inner tent, its width would extend to this position. So when we use this tent together with the double inner tent, rainwater can sometimes get into the inner tent. The solution to this is that when we open the outer tent, we should try to keep the zipper about 3/4 closed. This way, we leave enough space for the eaves to extend and the inner tent won't get wet. Right now, we have a lot of this kind of spraying from above. Now we have many sprinkler devices installed above us. Soon we'll conduct a sprinkler test to check the water resistance of the Saga tent. Let's do a real test of the tent's waterproof performance. Bye-bye. The whole tent is very spacious. So actually, this single-person tent can also fit 2 people. There are lots of pockets for putting your phone. Now we're starting the spray test at this moment.
Right now, there's some seepage visible at the very top of the tent, but so far, it hasn't dripped or leaked inside the inner tent at all. There are some visible spots now. There is some noticeable seepage, so if you want complete and thorough protection, you'll still need to apply some glue.
The monofilament fabric keeps water out, blocking it on the outside of the inner tent. Looking again at the leaking spots, they're mainly concentrated at this central point. There are a few solutions. Tomorrow, we'll apply the glue and then check its condition, or we could make a top cover for it. That could also solve the problem. First, let's take a look at why the tent is sewn like this on top. The first reason is that it helps to distribute the force. If the webbing and hook are sewn directly onto the fabric, since it's a double-sided silicone-coated fabric, it would create a single point of stress which could cause the threads to slip here. For example, like this. This is the single-point stress sewing method I was talking about. Of course, it also uses different sewing methods depending on the specific model. What you're seeing now is actually another one of our tent products. This particular one features single point reinforcement on the lower part, and its fabric is a blended material with a higher density. Another feature is that since this is a double-sided silicone-coated fabric, after we sew this cushioning fabric on, in fact, the stitching here is no longer the original 4 layers, but instead forms a thickness of 8 layers. That is, after the fabric is folded, together with the double-sided silicone-coated fabric itself, there is a total thickness of 8 layers. This way, when water seeps in, it will be effectively blocked. Of course, if you're going on a long hike outdoors and might encounter heavy rain, I still recommend applying glue in advance. Yesterday, we conducted a sprinkler test on this Saga tent. Although we used waterproof thread and some special processing techniques, when the top was hit by heavy rain, there was still some water seepage. Water dripped onto the inner tent. Our sample inner tent is made of monofilament fabric, which is a water-repellent material. So at first, when the rain was light, the water seeping into the outer tent didn't drip into the inner tent. However, over time, water will still drip inside, so we want to share our solution with everyone. First, we will replace the top of the inner tent with this kind of resin-coated breathable fabric. This material has better anti-drip performance than monofilament, and it also provides excellent ventilation and breathability. When rainwater seeps into the inner, it still won't drip inside the inner tent. It's designed to prevent dripping. Next, we're going to talk about how to handle the waterproofing of the outer tent. The simplest way is to use glue to coat the seams on the outside of the tent. But applying it on the outside affects the appearance, so we actually recommend applying it to the inside of the outer tent, which preserves its aesthetic and keeps the outside looking neat. The second method is to add a rainfly over the outer tent. Although this rainfly can provide excellent waterproofing, but I'm a bit worried that when it rains or when there's a strong wind blowing, it will end up creating quite a lot of noise. Let us show you a quick demonstration. Now, as you can clearly see, this particular rainfly provides a very effective and reliable result, and this rainfly only needs to cover the top part of the tent because the lower part is almost at a 90-degree angle. Even if rainwater drips in from above, it still won't get the inner tent wet. So this rainfly is a relatively simple solution, but its downside is that it can be quite noisy and adds extra weight. Therefore, we actually recommend applying waterproof sealant on the inside of the tent. Let's first show you how to apply the sealant. We need to find a waterproof glue and then prepare a brush like an oil painting brush. When opening the glue, be careful not to let it drip onto the tent because it can easily spill out. Next, apply the glue onto the brush. Then brush it onto the seams, these areas here. The thinner, the better. Gently brush it onto the stitching. Now let's demonstrate how to apply glue on the inside of the tent, because applying it on the inside looks more aesthetically pleasing. First, we need to take down the inner tent and remove the fasteners on top. Then we can now simply and directly access the inner seams of the outer tent. The method of application is the same as when you do it on the outside. When taking down the inner tent, be sure to remember not to remove the four corners at the bottom. If you do, the entire outer tent will become loose and saggy because it will lose its positioning. So only remove the top part, just the upper part. Just brush it on the inside like this. A thin layer is enough. There's no need to apply it thickly, but don't miss any spots. Make sure to brush it on in order. One thing to emphasize is that when we're working on these hanging points, we need to do this side. And the inside as well, both sides need to be brushed. Just brush the upper part. It's now 11:24 a.m. We can come back in 2 hours and it should be dry. Yesterday we applied glue to the outer fly of the Saga tent. I want to remind everyone that when applying glue, try to choose a sunny and clear day if possible, as the glue will dry much faster. We applied the glue to the entire inner side of the outer fly, so it can't be seen from the outside and won't affect the appearance. The glue usually takes about 2 to 3 hours to dry. Today, we will conduct a thorough spray test on the outer tent after carefully applying the glue, says Shaw. I also want to discuss with everyone that if we add a rainfly, its weight may increase by approximately 100 grams. If we don't add a rainfly, then users will need to apply the glue themselves. Of course, some users may ask us why we don't simply apply the glue before shipping the tent. There are actually two reasons for this. The first reason is that we do not have enough available space. Since our tents tend to sell quite well, we simply do not have enough room to let all the tents dry thoroughly after applying the glue, because that would require a very large, open, and well-ventilated area. Secondly, when applying the glue, the process is done entirely by hand, so it's inevitable there may be some imperfections or the application might not look neat. We're also concerned that some users who seek perfection might not be satisfied. That's why we've decided to leave this task for users to handle themselves. Of course, if some users really need our help, we also offer a paid service where we can apply the glue for you. But we hope everyone can understand that if our glue application doesn't look perfect, you'll need to be able to accept that. All right, now let's take a look at the waterproof state of this tent after the glue has been applied. As you can see, after applying the glue, there are some marks left on the surface, which are visible when you hold it up to the light. After 30 minutes of spray testing, we discovered an issue. If we apply the glue very evenly, there will be no water seepage. However, if we miss any spots while applying the glue, water can still get inside the outer tent at those missed areas. So, we must be careful and thorough when applying the glue. At the same time, we've also decided to include the waterproof cover for the top of the tent as an accessory that comes with the tent. If you need to apply glue during use, you don't have to bring this accessory, as it can be removed. But if you don't particularly like the process of applying glue, you can simply use this sealing accessory instead. It might be a little bit more complicated to assemble, or there might be some additional noise when the wind blows, but it completely eliminates the step of applying glue. So for this reason, we've decided to make this tent using this alternative method. We truly hope that all of you enjoy what we have created and presented here. If there is anything you're interested in or would like to learn more about regarding our complete spray test process, please feel free to leave us a comment below. We are always happy to answer your questions and will gladly share any and all information we have about our process with you. Please also give us more valuable suggestions. Thank you. Goodbye.